Hi, Debbie.
Hi,
It
Stephanie.
is so good to have you here. Thank you so much for doing this testimonial interview with me. It means a lot. And I know that you've been on this journey with me for a good year or around a year. It's been around a year. And first, we're going to dive into some questions around who you were before you started working with me and where you're at now. And then we're going to dive into more defined questions around maybe the Akashic Records facilitation course, stepping into what the activations felt like for you, what you received, the Abundance Blueprint course, the sexual womb healing course, and also the energetic cord cutting or energetic upgrade, as some people may know of it as now. So, the first question for you is, what were you like before you started working with me?
Ah, that's hard to remember, actually. I know you mentioned it's been a year, but it feels like so much longer. Um, I was brought to seek healing. Was mostly in my physical body. And like I think back to when I was a child and being raised in a Christian home, being introduced to that type of the religious spirituality. As I grew up and I started asking more questions, it just didn't resonate with me. Um, and I was searching for spiritual practices, and I would, touch on things and but never really fully embrace them. And I had a lot of wisdom, and people would come to me, and I just wasn't prepared at that time to actually dig deeper and actually have my own individual practice. So I believed, in spiritual principles, and I had had experiences as a child, but I had nothing really that satisfied my soul. And I was really physically a mess. I had had a lot of injuries through car accidents and physical illnesses, and body was my main focus for so many years. I'd say for three-quarters of my life, my body was all my focus was on, and my spirit was not
Mhm.
being nourished. So my brain and my body were fighting each other to be in control, and I completely forgot about my heart. And so then um, yeah, so I just kind of bumbled through life, and I just kind of existed, and I had, friends, but I was always on the surface. I didn't feel like I ever dug deep into anything that was really substantial. It was always the people I had in my life were just on the surface. Even my relationship with myself was just on the surface. A lot of pain that really limited and started making my world really, really small. So physical movement, I had migraine headaches. It was not eating was even a challenge for me with the food I ate. I was allergic, had a lot of allergies, and I lived in a lot of fear. Like I didn't realize how much anxiety I was under until now. I'm not in that cycle anymore. I was really driven by control, like control of myself. Everything in my environment was so controlled to protect my body, that I really started to isolate a lot. And like I was saying, the spiritual component of my life, I know I had faith, and I trusted, and I knew there was more out there than just this physical life. And I'm just going to close my window because it gets quite noisy. Excuse me.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. And but nothing. Yeah, I was just kind of, just floating on the surface and going from day to day. And then I stumbled across you, which wasn't a stumble. I now know
Yeah.
it was meant to be.
Yeah, you did an
Yeah.
Akashic reading with me. That was you.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah, and that was so powerful. Yes. Yeah.
can you explain what had happened in that Akashic reading after that session that we had? And it was a mini session. You did a mini
Yeah.
session with me.
It was bizarre, right? Like, and I mean, just the way I was drawn. I won't hold it up on this interview, but just like the way I was drawn to you was just amazing. That's what's so powerful and still gives me chills to this day. And it was in a large venue with a lot of noise around, and it was just like a really quick like, and I was. And it had dealt with a past life, and that's what I thought an Akashic Records reader was. Is it was all past life. Now I know, no, that's just a small component of it.
Yeah,
It's so much
it's
more,
so
right?
much
So,
more.
so much
Most
more.
people think that. Yeah.
And so, so I thought, okay, I'm curious. I was raised that you have one life and this is the only life you have. And so I thought, no, there's got to be more out there. So when I met you, Stephanie, you helped me realize, and what you told me resonated really deeply. And I could feel the physical pain in my body. And it was in my shoulder, my left shoulder. And it was really, really bad when I was driving to the location where you were. I had so much pain in that area. It was just almost make me want to turn around and go home. It was like, and it was just takes all the focus when that pain is there. Just the brain just automatically goes there, and nothing else I can think. So while we were doing the reading, and towards the end of the reading, I felt a light tap on my shoulder, just a really gentle tap, and we you had brought it to the surface that the pain that I was feeling was from past life trauma, and then integrating that trauma, giving that being love for this what they had experienced in that life, um emotionally, and then physically. Like I said, there was a tap on my shoulder, and the pain cleared away immediately. And I mean, I have pain still to this day in other areas because I have injuries in the physical body, but that pain has not returned.
Mhm.
And to me, that was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is real, right? This is something here. It's not just past life. How is it, curiosity, and like what was I before? But it just really said that there's an impact in this current life, and really introduced me to the whole idea of multiple lives, right? And my Christian upbringing, I was already not, I wasn't a Christian at the time, but it's that indoctrination was still in the brain, and still part of who I was. And so now it's just like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's all blown away. It's just, so it was so deep, like that for me, going for what I thought was just a past life reading was beyond. It was beyond anything. And so now here we are. Like, I've taken, like you said, some courses with you, and yeah, and activations. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. So I'm no
Amazing.
longer in so much pain, right? And
Yeah.
and and I love my body, and I'm so free. I can do things like I wasn't able to do in the last couple of years. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, we've been going through a lot of surges lately with the solar flares that have been coming through, and specifically July. So it's like a very intense month. And I know that you've been still doing really great with all of the energies that are coming through. But yeah, there's, for the most part, I would say we can tackle most of the pains, but there is always going to be things that happen in the physical body that still need to cleanse out on their own process. And to understand that your body is like, it's its own mechanism. It's its own, we have to love it and care it. And the more that you do this work, the more that that's just going to, your body's going to open up, your body's going to relax. And then over time, with that love and that all of the tools that you have, you're going to be able to, clear out the last little remainder. Because you were saying that you don't have much left, right?
No, no. And when it comes, it is a signal. It's like, okay, like, what is this trying to tell me? What am I
Yeah.
needing to learn? What am I needing to cleanse? What am I needing to address? Instead of being angry at the body and punishing it by, yeah. And
Yeah.
like, I really embrace the fact that the body is like, is sacred. Like,
Yeah.
it's a special, special, special part of me.
I
And I've
love
had
that
to
you
forgive myself. Mhm.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because yeah, I teach that where it's like healing comes in two different parts. The first part is when you're working on past life traumas, you have to clear that. But the second part is that part where it has to be done on your own time as well, when you're doing exactly what you just shared. And yeah, so that's great that you're doing that, you're practicing those tools. And yeah, it's just going to get better and better from there. Who would you say you are now in comparison to when you started? I know you touched on that a little bit, but if you want to elaborate more.
But I'm a completely different person.
Uh,
I I mean, I look the same, I sound the same. People, my relationships with people have significantly shifted. I think that's a big component for me. My priorities in life have definitely significantly changed. Um, I I honor my body, my heart. and my soul. Like I before I was really scattered. I couldn't keep my energy in my body. My energy was just going and I had so much pain that I didn't want to be in the body. I would dissociate. I wouldn't, it would just be, like I said, on the surface. And so with now, um, yeah, I just feel really grounded. Like my body, my heart, and my soul are really connected as one,
Yeah.
and we're working together. I'm not fighting with the brain, telling the body what to do, and the body telling the brain we can do this, we can't do. So I felt like I was a whole bunch of different pieces competing to be heard. Now we're a team. We work together. Um, like 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 even what I consume for food, it has really shifted.
Mhm.
What I watch for TV, what I put in my brain has really shifted. I enjoy spending more time in nature. That's my priority. Grounding, meditating, um, being like around people who are uplifting, and I don't draw in so much negativity to me anymore. I know, yeah, like tools that I never had before, and I'm just really experiencing joy with life, right? Like it's just like just simple tasks of eating is just such a pleasure for me. And we
I,
had the El Cacao the other night, and
yeah.
that was the best. I want to cry because it was just an amazing, like, and that's just something I took into my body. So it's not just the taste and the nourishment, but it's the energy and the love,
Mhm.
and just I can really feel that now, whereas before I was so blocked and just scattered. Yeah. So
I love that
yeah.
so much. That's so
Mhm,
beautiful.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
Yeah, I really feel what you're saying, and I see it in you as well. I see so
mhm,
much change, so much transformation, so much
mhm,
joy, and tapped in. And
mhm,
it's a really beautiful thing to see. Yeah, let's thank you for sharing that. Let's dive into now the Akashic Records
mhm,
facilitation training.
mhm,
What were the biggest shifts that you noticed around this course container for you? Specifically around, your gifts or your
mhm,
abilities with even with like doubting yourself before and then stepping into you were talking about before you had wisdom, but you didn't know what to do with it. Or,
mhm.
yeah, if you could elaborate more on that and your gifts and all of that stuff now.
So for me, with the Akashic Records, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I just know I needed to do it, right?
Yeah, it
And,
works.
I think that's the biggest shift for me now too. I just, okay, something I got to go that way, like the intuition, right? It has always been part of my life, but yeah, so with the Akashic Records, I found at the beginning, we kind of had a discussion of how much did you want to receive through this course? Like what level on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'm like, oh yeah, 8 sounds good, right? I'm not going to go all in because I don't know what I'm really getting into, but I can handle it. And that's pretty much the way I've always done things. It's kind of let's just go for it, right? A very adventurous spirit, and and I remember one time I was doing the one of the activations in the program as well, and it kind of said for that specific activity, I set a scale as well in that, and I think I said 10 because I was feeling good that day. And so then once I went through the process, I was realizing 10 was way too much. It was just like, wow.
The activations, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And it was like,
intense.
how do I get off this train? I want it to stop, right? And so then my brain was like, okay, you have the tools, you know what to do. Go do some grounding, do some breath work, do medit. So yeah, so it's just and yeah, and it's just for
The
me,
activations are no joke. They're so
no,
powerful, but that's why they're so potent. That's why they're so amazing because they're clearing so much from your field. And essentially it feels intense in the process. But I mean, for me personally, that's how I like to do things too. I like to go home or I like go big or go home, right?
yeah,
And so yeah, for me, I've always been the type of person that wants to do the strongest amount. And you get to where you want to go quicker, but it's not necessarily the easiest route.
no, no,
But your gifts come on and
yeah,
your clearing starts to happen. And yeah, and so
yeah. Oh, definitely. The dreams, like, and it affected the sleep patterns, the energy. Time, like time has slowed down. Some days are so slow for me. It feels like when I was a child and summer holidays lasted forever, right? Like it's such a, it just exposes to me how this world is such an illusion. Like and create what you create, what you put in, can come out. And
I want to
um
touch on what you just said because I remember when I think it was either you or one of my other students brought it up in our course, but they had shared or you had shared, oh, time is really slowing down for me. And one of the other students said, time is really speeding up for me. That is so wild. And I've seen this happen a lot with my students because when you're in this container, it literally shifts time. It literally moves time. Time becomes this energy that becomes fluid. And depending on you and how your system works, you can either slow down in time or speed up time. But I've also been through that as well, which is really cool. Many
mm,
times. Yeah.
yes. Well, and I think that's part of it. The program is work, but it's a lot of fun too, right? It's amazing because there's so many different pieces. It's not anything that, like I said, I had no expectations. I wanted to heal. That's what really brought me through here. I thought, okay, I've healed the body. I'm focused on getting the body stronger and healthier, and the mind is getting stronger and healthier. But the piece that was missing was my heart. Like I really believe that my heart is a portal. And once
Mhm.
going through this course really opened up my heart. And also that we've shared together too is one of my superpowers is love, activating like
Yeah.
love for others. And I can really notice that when I go out into groups and just having casual conversations with people, um, words will come out of my mouth that are not necessarily anything that me and the physical body are saying, but I have faith. I understand that it's I call it my higher me. It's
Yeah.
easier for me to remember that.
Yeah.
So my higher me is able to come through and just in daily things. And uh, for me, I realized through this course as well is how much judgment I had. And
Mm.
that was a real humbling experience. And that came through the activations as well, that just that knowledge of this judgment, and you're sharing your wisdom and your knowledge about judgment and the side effects, what happens with judgment in this life and for future lives.
Yeah.
And so that's
Judgment.
really been a huge change, letting judgment go. I
Yeah.
still have the thoughts, so I know they'll still be recorded on the Akashic Records because oh, just if I don't say them, it's okay. But I know that so I'm working on the thought part, but at least they don't come out so easy.
Well, thoughts might not necessarily be yours, right?
Yeah.
There can be thoughts that come
Um,
through, but it's our agreement to them, which makes them either something that becomes a negative experience or not necessarily a negative experience, but it'll create that karma in your field. Because we talked about judgment before, and just in case so anybody's who's watching, when we judge something, we end up creating karma for ourselves, and we actually have to go through that experience ourselves, whether it or not it's in this life or in another life. We create that experience. Judgment is also a huge blocker, so it'll actually block you from basically anything that you're trying to receive as well. So the more that you can acknowledge it and simply work on clearing it from your field, that is best. But sometimes things will come through, and it's really simply that acknowledgement. And the more that you do this type of work, the less of those judgments you get. The cool thing about this container, what I love, is that even if you were, for example, to look at my previous testimonials, interviews that I did, you can see the incredible change that's happened within me, which means that it's not just a one and done type of container. This is a container, Debbie, even for you, that's going to evolve you more and more and more as you continue it into the world. Like what you're experiencing now is just it's the breakthrough. It's the you stepped into that version of yourself, and now you've got the tools, and now you're just going to keep going and going and going and going. And that's the beautiful thing, is that it's a never-ending container. It's a container that's constantly evolving and shifting you as you go. So any of those judgments that do come through, like you said, you've got the tools now, you know what to do. And the more that, and that's real, it's real to say that. And yeah, I think everybody struggles with certain things like that nowadays, but it's whether or not you are actually taking on those energies, or if you're going, oh, okay, I see that, and then just releasing it and doing the work around it. But
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And they come in, and it's such a simple thing too, what I'm judging. And then oh, you're judging. And as soon as I stop the judging, then it just disappears from my field. And it's just like, oh, that's so easy. Then why do I get, stuck in that pattern? It makes me laugh. I have a lot of fun with it now, right? And
yeah,
I really appreciate, like, I do feel like there's so much expansion, like there's so much more to this. Like I'm yeah, and like I really appreciated like the sacred geometry that was part of the container.
Mhm.
Then also like the learning about entities as well, because I had a lot of fear as well about what am I stepping into, what am I opening up, especially with my history from
Mhm.
childhood,
Yeah,
being taught that this is not. So it was looking back now, I realized, like you said, all those blockages were there. And yeah, it's just and I, like, I'm not the same person, like, and I don't feel the same, and I don't look the same. I feel
yeah,
like much lighter. And it's hard because I have to let some relationships go, and so I'm just letting them just kind of go, just float away. But yeah, that's. But I'm also having people come into my life now that wouldn't have been there before, and those really,
yeah,
especially like with us, like this relationship here is not just a, it's not just a teacher and a student, or
yeah.
there's a relationship there, and there's like, I really can see that there's an agreement, there's a contract, and it from beyond, not just like contract to do the facilitation course, right? So yeah,
Totally.
it's powerful, it's very
Totally.
powerful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it is beautiful. I love that you brought that up because it's so true. Like literally God or whatever you want to call it will remove anyone that's no longer in your vibration. And sometimes that can feel like people are, are closing doors on you, or if you have to close doors on people. But really what it is it's an up leveling of your energy. And the specific type of self-mastery that is included in these containers, it's very different. It's not your typical self-mastery like yoga or this or that. It's like it's very unique. Nothing against yoga. Yoga is great, but it's a very particular type of self-mastery. And this is a self-mastery that raises your frequency pretty quickly and also opens up your chakras, your crown, your gifts as well, combined with the activations. It's a really potent thing.
Yes.
What was your experience on the activations? I know that you touched a little bit on them. You were saying they were intense. What were the things, the shifts that you noticed after doing them? Did you physically feel them in your body? Yeah, if there's anything you would like to share on that.
Yeah. So with them, I think just the forgiveness was huge for me. I had a lot of forgiveness that I had to do, and that was a huge thing. I did feel them in the body, just having. Sometimes I had way more energy. Sometimes I was exhausted. Like I said, the dreams that came after those activations. One dream was so powerful. I felt like I dreamt. I shared it with you. I was jumping timelines, like, and it was like it felt more real than being awake here. It felt like that was, and then I didn't, so it just, like, the whole is on a spiritual level,
Was
it
that the
just
Akashic
opened.
activations?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, yeah, because I'm trying to remember exactly, because I think we had how many, about four, five of them, I think, in the program, in the
We had
container.
three of them, I believe, but
Okay,
we
yeah,
had other activations, but the Akashic Records one and two, and then we had the third eye activation.
yeah,
So
yeah,
activating the clairs in the records, and then clearing the blocks, inhibiting you from your natural state of accessing the Akashic Records, and then the third eye activation.
yeah.
But then we did like the cord cutting one, which we'll get into in a bit, and the womb healing ones, which were really
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, well, I think the third eye one is phenomenal, because
Yeah.
I still see, yeah, that one was really powerful for me. And
Yeah.
then with that came a lot of knowing, like a lot of, like, just knowing. I don't know what the exact term for it is, probably
Yeah, knowing.
clairvoyance, or yeah,
I
just
have that
knowing, right?
too.
Yeah, and it's like, and
Yeah.
so it's just like, oh, so then it gives me great peace, because I'm not thinking, okay, why are you thinking that thought? You're where did that thought come from? Like I'm questioning my thoughts, but then now I know it's coming from my higher me, or wherever it's coming from. I'm channeling it. It's coming through me, and I used to always think, okay, why are you thinking that about that person? Whereas now I realize that's knowledge and wisdom that I need to share with that person, not just I make scenarios and I would question, am I making these scenarios in my head? Am I making up these stories? Like it was confusing. But now there's that clarity, there's that knowing, there's that, and we've discussed too about using my words. And so that's giving me greater confidence. That was one of the things that I was lacking. We're going back to where I was before. I didn't use my words, but now I have that confidence that my words are meant to be heard. And I think that that also came through the activations. Yeah, just that knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, knowing is really so powerful. It's especially helpful in any day life, like just through experiences, like you were saying. What was your experience with the activations in the when you were doing Akashic readings, for example? Like, um, how did you find your readings were with sharing information that would come through? Did you have more insights, better clarity? Were you able to see things more? Were you able to feel things more? Knowingness came through, like you said.
Yeah, it's well, I'm thinking for me, if I think back, because we practiced with the other students in the class, in the course, that was in the container.
Mhm.
And at first I was really nervous. It was like, oh my, what is this? And I didn't see that in the syllabus. So I was like, but this that makes sense, right? Because and then so then the first time doing the practice, and so I didn't open up the records for myself at any time until after I had a couple of readings with the other students, and it was like, wow, this is really cool. This is a lot of fun. And it takes a lot of faith and then the feedback that I was receiving after, going into the records and for me, I really felt that the beginning part of it was like the preparation was really key, like getting myself ready for the readings and clearing my space. So I felt I had all these tools and and uh and going in and seeing just a knowing came through and as you shared with us is that just you have to share what comes through. So no matter how bizarre it may seem, share it. So I shared something and it's just and it was and to have the feedback come back goes, oh wow, okay, that's powerful, right? And without going into the details, but it's and yeah, and I still look at it and go, wow, that's really, really, really powerful. And the point with where we kind of got further into about like sacred geometry and seeing symbols, the meditations, and it just expanded so much. And I learned it's way beyond past lives. That's blew my
Yeah.
theory way up.
Yeah, it's so
Quantum
funny.
healing, right? Like it's powerful. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, it really is just it keeps expanding and expanding and expanding and it's cool because yeah, like even in my own experience, it's like I originally thought it was just a reading and then it turned into quantum healing and then it turned into activating and then it turned into channeling creations and courses and all of this
Mhm.
stuff that was like wow, like applying it on myself. Like when you think about the womb sexual healing course, it's like, which we're going to get to in a bit, that originally was just information that channeled through me. I I channeled that course. I applied it on myself and then I started to notice incredible shifts that were happening. I was like my relationships have completely changed. My like sexual desires have changed. I feel really creative. I'm passionate about life. I'm excited about life. Like I have purpose again. Like all of these things started to shift in my life. And then I was like, wow, I got to create that into a course, right? And so that's the cool thing is that as you evolve, so does the Akashic Records for you. And now it's that I'm channeling like tech, like I'm channeling other things that are like, what? Like that's just it just keeps evolving as you evolve. And so I'm excited to share more about that at a different time. But um, Yeah, I want to also share because you brought up a really good point, Debbie. It's Yeah, when you step into the records, what I've noticed a lot of other people do, and this is why I teach proper preparation protocols, like, and specifically in the way that I do, it's because if I was, a lot of people, if they were just supposed to share whatever information that comes through, that information actually might not be coming from the most best resources. It might not be coming from the highest, greatest good. But when we work on clearing the blocks, activating our clairs, doing proper preparation, this is when we can actually begin to actually, share from that soul blueprint, that aligned level. And when we can bring that into our daily life, that requires a certain amount of self-mastery, a certain amount of skills. So that's why that self-mastery component is also equally just as important. But I see so many people nowadays who have their gifts that are turning on, but they don't know how to use them, or they're just allowing whatever wants to talk to them to control their life or to tell them to do things. And that's like a form of giving your power away, right? When we idolize these outside beings or we give our power to something else to tell us what to do, we're giving our power away. And you can tell when someone's in their power because they continuously grow, transform, and shift into a higher version of themselves every I want to say every now and then. Like you're just constantly evolving. And I've seen that with you as well, right? Like you keep evolving, you keep getting more of a glow to you. You're so much lighter. I feel it in your energy. I feel it in your voice, in your power, because I know that you also have a very strong, powerful voice that's meant to help people a lot with that heart activated love that you have in your heart as well. So yeah. Is there anything else? Yeah. We'll dive into the Abundance Blueprint course. Now, I know that the Abundance Blueprint course is a course that has to do with a lot of self-mastery. Was there anything in that container? That container for you was done before the Akashic Records facilitation course, and it was one that was kind of on your own time. What were the shifts that you noticed in your field since that started to happen? Was there any specific incidences or memories that you have or stories that you have that you can share? If you
Uh,
remember any.
yeah, because I was done as a prep before the Akashic Records and the program and the container. Um, so I look back and just uh, it cleared a lot of I guess 3D stuff from my field, like being focused on work, like having a 9 to 5 and getting home and making dinner, like the whole routine of the corporate world and so I've been blessed. I haven't had to work for quite a few years. And I have no idea how that is or why that is, but the abundance flows to me. And I may be down to like a very small amount in my bank account, and then it comes through. So that has given me the opportunity to focus on healing and healing my body, healing my soul, and so that to me I think was the biggest part of the abundance blueprint course is that I've been able to let go of, of material things and know that I'm always going to be provided for. Um,
Were you
and
were you, were you in the corporate container when you started the course, or was that something that you um
um, I was kind of coming out of it,
okay.
but I had debt and I had no way of supporting myself and with the physical injuries that I had sustained, I was not able to work.
Right.
So so and I made a choice that I was going to stop hurting my body and heal the body and get back to work.
Yeah.
But that then there was so much more healing involved. So now with the abundance course that I've gone through, yeah, I mean like the food I eat is way better, way more nutritious, and so I don't have this anxiety related to how am I going to feed myself, how am I going to clothe myself, how am I going to house myself
Yeah. The abundance just
every
flows.
day.
Yeah.
It comes through. The more I let it go, the more I receive. If I get stuck in this sense of lack,
Yeah.
then that brings back all that trauma, all that fear. So the
Mhm.
abundance course just it's been a while, but it's shifted me in the sense of material world. I don't have to focus so much on that, and then that just frees up opportunities. Now I want to be able to start giving back a little bit more,
Mm.
and I'm feeling really drawn to contribute again to to wellness of others and
Yeah.
share the wealth that's not related to money. This
Yeah.
that's not important, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Exactly.
I think that really came through the abundance course is that my needs in this world to survive as a body are taken care of.
Yeah,
And
I love
yeah,
that. That's so powerful. That is so
yeah,
beautiful because the amount of ease, the amount of like, oh, like it just feels so comforting when you know, that you're always
yes,
taken care of, that God has got you,
mhm,
highest power,
yes,
whatever you want to call it.
yes.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
And I can look after my dog too. She needed surgery, and the
Oh,
funds were available. So yeah, it's I'm taken care of. It's peace. Yes,
oh,
yes.
good. Yeah, that's amazing. That is really amazing. I love that.
Mhm.
All right. And what about the sexual womb healing course?
Yeah.
Do you have anything you would like to share on that?
Well, I didn't know what I was getting into with that one either.
That one does come with activations, which are really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, because there was well, there was yeah, we had done a reading, and I trying to remember if this was part of it too. No, this is a separate time, but um, I think like with entities being attached to
Hmm.
the body really resonated with me. And then of course the fear and the anxiety came with, oh, entities are bad, or they're evil, or they're just going to destroy me. So calming down through this container, I was actually starting to understand the entities can actually be beneficial in the sense that they push you in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And so then of
And
course then there was
yeah, there
mhm,
are teachers, so they can show us not necessarily good teachers or bad teachers, but they show us where our wounds are. So if
mhm,
we listen to them, they'll show us where our wounds are. And I think
mhm.
from what I'm picking up from you, I think you were also doing the cord cutting activation during that time. Was that true?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
because
yes, yes,
that's more
yes,
entity based. Yeah, that makes sense.
yes.
Sense.
Oh yeah. So there was a lot of so physically when I was doing one of the um like during one of the weeks that we had different activities to do, and it was the healing, the cleansing. I could physically feel in my body, in my womb area, a pain, and it was and so it was about drawing the dark energy. I can't remember the exact words, like removing that and putting it into the light of God. And
Mhm.
that was very powerful for me. I was almost at the point where I thought I needed to have a medical appointment because it was so painful. But then I was drawing this energy. I could physically feel drawing that energy from my body, and
And
so
you
that was the biggest thing for me.
did you feel
Um,
a release after?
I did, but it took a long time. It
Yeah.
wasn't just one day. It was a couple weeks of this. Every time I went through that specific um, activation, or not activation, but that specific component of the container, and
Yeah.
it affected me again and again. So then I thought, okay, this isn't every day. It's not all the time, but it's just when you're going into the specific uh,
Yeah.
component of the container that is activating this pain in the body. And so there's something clearly there. And
Yeah.
so that's where,
That container works on all lifetimes. So it's not
mm,
just this lifetime, which is really
mm,
cool. If it was this lifetime, it would probably be a lot less painful.
yes.
A lot. But when we're working with all lifetimes, there's a lot of stuff that's energetically in our field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that to me was another thing that was like to feel the energy of it and the experience, like you said, of other lifetimes coming through this lifetime in this body, and how important it's reinforced again, body is to the complete experience of life. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And what would you say turned on for you after that container or even after yeah, after any of the containers? Like what did you notice any creativity or any like passion or I'm just thinking of the sacral chakra right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
anything that shifted in that area for you?
Good for me. I think becoming more music and dance kind of came through a little bit more, that energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Passion.
And yeah, yeah, passion. Yeah.
And I think
Um,
relationships for you too, as well, because you're
mhm,
like cutting out old, right? I'm not sure if that happened
yeah.
around the time, but maybe that might have happened.
Yeah, well, there was a relationship when I was doing the cord cutting that had ended previously, but I still felt that attachment to that person on
Yeah.
an energetic level, like a dreaming level or just thought level. They were coming into my field and my thoughts, and so going through that, and especially I found like the cord cutting and the light of God exercise as well was part of it too. It it really just freed my mind to be able to let that go. Like that's all part of why I'm not the same person I used to be. Like
Yeah.
that just seems like so far away, and just like
What
the
what was your
mhm.
experience with doing the cord cutting activation, like the after effects of it?
um like just the thought patterns were gone. Forgiveness was huge. Yeah, there was a lot of forgiveness. That was the huge part for me, and just to say, okay, that person, and understanding, and even love came through. Like it was
Yeah.
there was a lot of hate and anger prior to that, I would say,
Mm.
which is not very. I'm not very proud to say that now, but I can say
I had
it,
that
right?
too. I had that too.
Yeah.
I think if you're human, you have that.
Yes,
I
I
mean,
forget that sometimes.
yeah. I think it's very
Uh,
common, more common than you think. But I'm grateful that you were able to release that. That's
mhm,
amazing.
mhm. Yes.
Cool. All right. And so
And
you,
just
yeah,
sorry to add, so I am not in a relationship and I'm very independent and I have more compassion for myself. And if a relationship comes, then that would just, complete more of a different journey for me. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm just
I'm not
very
in a
happy.
relationship either. I feel like I know deep down I'm meant for a specific path and that on that
Mhm,
path, eventually I will find one. But I know that some people aren't meant to be in relationships, and that might sound off right now, but eventually you'll find a relationship and it'll be
mhm,
beautiful. But a lot of people, it's just might not be in their fields at right now because there's
mhm,
so much shifting and happening on the planet that there's like yeah, so much going on, and depending on how your focus is, like if you were to be in a
mhm.
relationship, would that deter you from your divine innate plan, the
Yeah.
energy you're meant to bring? And so really it's about learning to be able to do both, and that takes time.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
But I'd say I'm more open to it now, but I'm not searching, and I love myself more. I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing for me. I
Beautiful.
can love myself more. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that from you. You definitely, you definitely love yourself, and I see it. It's beautiful. It's nice when you truly have
Mhm,
love for yourself. That's
mhm,
when you can actually, there's none of that guilt, none of that shame. There's just full forgiveness, full love, full compassion and understanding, and that is truly how we begin to transform and change and shift and evolve and all of that stuff. So, yeah. Is okay, let me just tune in. Is
mhm.
there anything else you would like to share around how would you define yourself as a reader now with all of the tools that you've learned with the quantum healing, with the sacred geometry, with the self-mastery, with all of the stuff that you learned? How would you define yourself as a reader, if you want to classify
Mhm,
yourself as that, or
mhm.
a quantum soul blueprint reader? How would you classify or share where you are at now?
So where I am, I'm wanting to delve more. I want to keep going. Like this to me it's just the beginning, and I'm very excited to see what the future is going to hold. I feel I have a gift to share with people. I feel that my words hold power and have meaning, and I don't judge my words anymore. They come through. There's a message, and I let them flow. Um, as a reader, I realized that like through this container that they have been really activated, like they have always been. And but through this now I'm like, wow. And from some of the interactions I've had with people that they've shared to me that the words that I have spoken have really been powerful for them. but I can't remember having these conversations. So I was like, okay, that wasn't Debbie speaking. That was my higher me speaking, or something was coming through me to share this. And so I feel I need to share that. I feel a sense that I want to share that. I want to bring joy, love, happiness, peace. Like that's what I've experienced through this. And I do see it in my family dynamics as well, is that once I started healing, those relationships have just changed
Mhm.
so much. I don't put the emphasis on me and my abilities, but just wanting to open up and be a channel and let whatever comes through share with the world and activate people's hearts, activate love, and just
Yeah.
and whatever joy. Like there's one of the in the container in the Akashic facilitators, there was a link, and it get reminders. It's an app on my phone to I can't remember the exact words, but there's so many beings that are now taking a pause. So every once in a while, I get this little app to remind me to stop for 3 minutes, take a pause, and then I look, and there's like 23 beings in the world who are doing this. So to feel part of that whole collective, just raising the energy of the world is huge. So, yeah, but I'm
Amazing.
curious to see what my next steps are. I'm shy a bit, and also just don't like getting pushed out of my comfort zone. So I know that's coming.
Yeah, you're going to be doing readings at a coffee shop
Yes, yes,
soon.
that's what I would like to be doing. Yes, so
Yes.
I'm quite excited about that. I want to just get a little bit more experience in doing that, and yeah, and I just have to get out there. I just have to put myself out there, and I know that if it's the right time, then it'll happen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's going to be
excited.
beautiful. I'm excited for you. Um, how would you share any information about me as a facilitator?
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're so cheerful. Even at 6:30 in the morning.
Our classes were specifically very early because one of the girls,
Yeah,
she works at 8. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it worked out well. But I observed from you, and just your just let things go. Like you would just let things happen. And you're knowledgeable. Like you were not anything about me. It's not Stephanie doing this. You always said it was something that was channeled through you, or and you shared your knowledge and your wisdom
My
and your
divinity.
experience, your divinity. Yes,
Divinity. Yeah.
yes.
I,
That's
I,
what I'm.
yeah. I specifically only teach people to channel their divinities because that is about anchoring in more of your highest divine self. But
Mhm,
yeah, yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
And that's where I have my words. That's where I'm finding I want to learn these words. So thank you. But the divinity, definitely, I can see that. And and um and when we did some readings through the container as well, and I had another healing through that too, with the quantum healing. And so I just find, Stephanie, that you are so wise, and you're passionate about this, and you're compassionate as well as, I mean, you just have this energy that makes me feel safe, and that I'm on a journey that that has been a contract from before I'm here. So the
Yeah.
connection, the community also brings in the community, and the preparation that you put into these containers. Like it's there, and
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
my goal is to see my students become the highest versions of themselves that you can be. And Debbie, you've definitely honored that. What I love
Mm,
about you is you were dedicated. You were determined, you were dedicated to make a change, a shift. I mean, you chose number 8.
yeah.
Go. And so, um, yeah, that's amazing. And it is proof that you've put in the dedication and the time and you did the work, right? I can
Mhm.
be the mentor, but the person who really did the work is you. And so I forgot to ask you. I know that we did also do a little bit of also reading. I taught you a little bit about how to read your own records. Is there anything around that you would like to share before we close this container?
Yes, thank you. For me, uh, I like going into the records, reading my own records now. So anytime I have something that comes up that's causing me a little bit of anxiety in my daily life, I go, okay, let's go into and that's what you've encouraged as well throughout the container is like when we've had questions, go into the records, ask the records. And so and the answers that I've received, the clarity that I've received, I'm seeing real shifts in what I've changed in on this part of myself has affected my son in his life.
Wow.
And so whenever I'm feeling I can't as a mother, I get that, concerns or messages sometimes. I go, okay, well, I'm not going to feed into the anxiety and the fear. We'll just go into the records, ask some questions about myself, what I'm feeling. So I don't go into other people's records without their permission. That's one of the protocols that I really adhere to that was part of the facilitation course. But I look at what my part of this is, and so I'm really finding like the shifting of other people around me. Questions like even reading my dog was really fascinating.
Ugh.
And so yeah, I just find that instead of worrying about things or trying to be distracted and not focus on it, I go into the records, and then when I come out of them, I have answers. I feel peace, and then I see the actual concrete evidence around me in the physical world, and that's rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, the physical evidence is definitely it's the proof right there. Have you
Mhm.
ever had dreams after like doing healing work in the records for yourself?
I have
You
like
don't have to explain what they are, but
yeah, yeah,
you don't want to. But yeah, dreams are so symbolic.
yes,
Or
yes.
they don't happen to everybody, but they happen to some people, and that's also another like proof that you're closing that container, that it's been shifted. And yeah, and
Mhm.
you were saying you had those dreams with the activations, and yeah,
Yes.
so you've
Yeah.
also had them, which is really cool because it's the same thing. Activations are also like a more intense clearing blocks. And then
Mhm.
Akashic Records work is more about clearing blocks in its own way. But yeah, you can have dreams in both areas.
Mhm. I tend to not always remember my dreams, but those when I do remember them, then I know, okay, there's something powerful there. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me too is just the fact that I find just the healing of my my life here right now. I really feel it affects other lifetimes. I can't explain that, but that's just how I feel. Like me healing here has affected past lifetimes. The time is just irrelevant, right? And
Mhm.
so then even if it's just healing people around me in my relationships, because I'm sharing my love with them, because I've now been able to open up, activate my clairs, and just yeah, be who I'm meant to be in this lifetime without all the clearing the contracts and clearing the womb and yeah, so
I
it's
love that you brought that
yeah.
up because it's so true. The activations that I create they're done differently. So they're done through certain containers. And I see a lot of people out in the world doing activations in a very different way, which I personally am not for. I won't get into why, but the specific way that I create activations is that I place them into your source connect so you can receive them through your own source connection. So they're coming from the highest, greatest good for you by your own source. And then on top of it, it's actually healing and activating all of your lifetimes. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so potent. And I love that you just know that because I never even told you that.
Yeah.
I never once told you that this
No.
type of work was happening throughout all of
Oh,
your lives. So
yes,
I
yeah,
love that you just brought that up because I
yeah.
never thought that. It's definitely and I know it, but it's one of those
Yeah,
things that you just yeah, I love it.
yeah. I feel that, yes, and that was what came through with some of the other students, like when we were doing the readings on each other, that some of the past lives that I had experienced came through. So then I was feeling that I had a relationship with this lifetime, and I really felt drawn, especially through a lot of other stuff, that's really felt drawn to clear things, to heal things in this lifetime, so I don't carry them forward. But then I do feel peace from those other lifetimes that okay, that there's they have peace as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
past life healings definitely will affect our present lifetime. Like it's
Mhm.
yeah, it's clearing it from the source is key. That's why I've shared this to you earlier, and I already know that you know this, but just anybody that's watching, there's that two ways to heal, right? And one of them
Mhm.
is through that past life healing, because if the imprints are still in our field, like that density is still stuck, creating a block in our field. And we can only so much work on something in real time. And then if we still have that block there, it's going to be a lot harder to actually process it. But yeah, it's the two ways. It's processing it in real time and working on past life traumas. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's key. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They say thank you too.
yeah, huge.
Yeah. But it's all, yeah, it's pretty amazing, Stephanie.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I just feel part of a real sense of community now too. I feel like I have my spiritual team now. I have, you know, I have tools that I can use, but then I also have, a contact with you, and so yeah, it's really
Yeah.
neat. It's really
Yeah, and I'll
great.
always be here, so you can always shoot me a
Yes.
message and come back for our next ceremony that we have. It's
Yes, that
really
was
fun.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, Debbie, thank you so much. I know that you've helped a lot of people by sharing your truth and sharing what was real for you and your experience with working with me, and I really appreciate you. I'm so, so grateful
Mhm.
for you doing this, because it's one of those containers that you just don't really know if it works or what it works or like how it works unless you
Mhm.
actually hear somebody's experience. And so I really thank you and honor you for showing up, doing the work, and then sharing and having this
Thank
testimonial
you.
for me. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Thank you for channeling it through your divine self and sharing it with me and the world. And yeah, and sometimes it's hard for me to put into words, but I know the physical body and the heart and the soul have all come together through this container, and it's
Ooh,
the
I
final
love
piece of
that.
my healing. So yes, yes. So I
Yeah,
feel real grounded, real connected, and happy. Yeah, definitely a peace. Hmm.
beautiful. Okay. Well, thank you, Debbie.
Stephanie.
You're welcome. I'm just going to